What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Oak Tree Football Channel, and welcome back to another 2020 NFL schedule breakdown and record prediction. So I've been doing a lot of college football predictions recently, but every few days I will do an NFL one, and I will be doing an NFL one today. Today I will be doing the Denver Broncos. Now, the Denver Broncos are a very, very interesting team to me because I could see them being very good this year. I could see them being a legitimate contender in the AFC, a legitimate playoff contender, but I could also see them being a pretty bad team. I think it's more likely they'll be good, but if Drew Lock doesn't pan out how we think we will, if the loss of Chris Harris will be bigger than we all think it will, I don't think that will be the case, but I do think it's a possibility. So the Broncos drafted pretty well. It was interesting how they went two receivers in the first round. Jerry Jeudy in the first round, that was a great pick. Getting him at pick number 15 was honestly a steal. He was one of the best receivers in the draft. And then KJ Hamler in the second round was questionable. I know they needed a receiver, but they already had Cortland Sutton on the roster. They already had Deshaun Hamilton on the roster. I think that's a good top three receivers. And there are bigger positions of need, such as the secondary, now that Chris Harris is gone. But then they decided to go out and get another receiver. I don't really understand that one. With that being said, let's get into looking at their schedule this year. So they went 7-9 last season, which was not bad, but they started to play well when Drew Lock came in. They had Joe Flacco in the start of the season. Wasn't doing great. And then later in the year, Drew Lock came in. Drew Lock wasn't actually the initial replacement for Joe Flacco. I don't understand why. There just wasn't. The coaches in Denver didn't really believe he would be able to get it done. Personally, I was like, why are they not putting him in? I thought he could get it done. But they didn't. And then eventually they did. And he did get it done. I think he put up some nice numbers, to be honest. Like, if you look at that Texans game against the Texans, he put up some really, really good numbers in that game. You would not expect that from a second-round quarterback who really hadn't had much playing time, didn't have the best receiving core. Those are some nice numbers, and the team has a good running game. It's a good team all around. I expect a good season from Denver. So, with that out of the way, let's get into looking at their schedule. Week 1, they are at home, and they are playing the Tennessee Titans. Titans are a very interesting team to me. I do believe they will probably be good this year. They had that great run, of course, in last year's playoff. So I think they will be pretty good this year. They're getting Derrick Henry back, Ryan Tannehill back. They could be a very good team this year. And they could give Denver a really tough game here. I do think I might have Denver with the upper hand here. They had such a good offseason. They have a great roster now. I think their roster, on paper, their roster looks almost as good as Tennessee. So this game could go either way, but I think I'm leaning towards Denver just because this game's at home for them. It's going to be a fun game to watch, one of the better games of week 1. It could go either way. It's a tough game for whoever it is. I think it will be Denver, but I'm not 100% sure. So I just want to point something out before we go on real quick. I'm currently editing this video, and I noticed that I have the Steelers listed as a home game. This is actually an away game for the Broncos, so I do talk about this as a home game a few times. It is an away game. Just keep that in mind as the video goes on. But let's get back into it. Week 2 against the Steelers. Once again, at home. Steelers are a team that I think can be really, really good this year. I think they have a top 10 defense in the NFL. If you look at it on paper and you look at how they've performed these past few years, even though they are losing Javon Hargrave, this is a top defense for Pittsburgh. And they won 8 games last year with Mason Rudolph and Devlin Hodges as their quarterbacks. They're getting Ben Roethlisberger now. That should be a big change. I do think so. I don't think Roethlisberger is going to have as big of an impact as he has had in the past with the Steelers, but I think he will have an impact. And I think the Steelers will be a good team this season. This is a tough game. This is a seriously tough game for Denver. And I think they'll probably lose this game. Don't get me wrong. I could see them winning, and I could see it being close. But I think Steelers are the better team, and I think they probably will win. Week 3, another tough game. They have a lot of tough games to start the season. It's against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, there is a lot of hype about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going into this season. I don't believe all of it. I'm not going to lie. I don't think the Buccaneers are going to be as good as some people are hyping them up to be. That does not mean I think they'll be a bad team. I think they will be a candidate for the playoffs, and if they won't make it there, they'll definitely be close. So this will be a tough game. It's at home for the Broncos, and I'm leaning towards the Broncos in this game. I think it's similar rosters, and I think the Broncos will probably be able to edge this game out, but it's going to be a fun game to watch. Week 4 is their first, real easy game of the season. It's not I don't think it's an automatic win. I don't think it's, that easy, but I don't think it's that hard. It's against the Jets. It is on the road, but the Jets are a team that I don't think will be great this year. I mean, the AFC East isn't that tough of a division, but I don't think the Jets will be able to really take advantage of Tom Brady leaving the Patriots, and I don't think that they will be able to win this game. I don't think it'll be that close, if I'm honest. I do think the Broncos are the better team. This game is in MetLife Stadium, but I do think the Broncos still will be able to get it done. I think the Jets' defense is really the main point of their team. Their offense needs improvement. It really needs improvement. I think Sam Darnold has potential to be a good quarterback, but with the receiving core and with the coaching he's getting at the Jets, I don't think he's going to be able to reach it there for at least a few years. So I don't think this is going to be a win. And I don't think it'll be very close for the Jets. I think this should be a pretty easy game for the Denver Broncos. Week 5 could be an easy game, but it could also be a very tough game. It's against the New England Patriots. Now, with Tom Brady leaving and with some of the moves the Patriots have been making this offseason, a lot of people don't believe in the Patriots anymore. But I'm not counting the Patriots out. And I'm not counting the Patriots out until they are 100% out. Because the Patriots are the Patriots at the end of the day. They still have Bill Belichick, and Bill Belichick has proved he was able to get it done for many years in the NFL. I mean, he didn't prove himself great before he came to the Patriots, but there was not really a significant, fantastic player on the Patriots when he came, and he was able to take them to all these Super Bowl wins and stuff. I'm not counting the Patriots out. A lot of people counted the Patriots out in the Super Bowl a few years ago, and they came back and beat the Falcons. I am not counting the Patriots out until it is official that they are out. I am not counting them out until then, because the Patriots can turn anything around, and they have proved us that Bill Belichick really can really make an impact on the game. As the head coach. I think Jarrett Stidham could actually be a good quarterback this year. I mean, for some people, that's not a very popular opinion, but I do believe he can be a good quarterback. Because he is being coached by Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick was able to take a 6th-round quarterback to 6 Super Bowl wins. Not every coach in the NFL can do that. I'm not saying he'll do the same thing with Jarrett Stidham, but I don't think Jarrett Stidham's going to be a bad quarterback. So this is going to be a close game, but I do expect the Broncos probably to win it. But I definitely could see the Patriots putting up a fight. Week 6, they have another AFC East opponent. It is the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins last year, so the Miami Dolphins are actually a very interesting team to me, because last year, they were not good. Their roster was one of the worst rosters we've seen in the NFL. And yet they were able to win 5 games. Why? Because they have one of the best coaches in the NFL. Brian Flores can be one of the best coaches in the NFL, and I think he already is. Some people aren't going to agree with that, and that's fine. This is a guy that can be one of the best coaches in the NFL. He learned from Bill Belichick for many, many years, and I think he can get it done in Miami, and I think Miami can be a legitimate playoff contender a few years down the line. With Tua coming in, I don't think he'll start this season, but with some of the moves they made this offseason, this can be a legitimate playoff contender in a few years. Not this year, of course, but in a few years. With Brian Flores, with Tua, the sky is the limit for the Miami Dolphins. But with that being said, I don't think they're going to be great this season. And especially this game being at home for the Denver Broncos, I think they'll win. I do think they will win. I don't expect it to be too close, but I think the Broncos will win. Week 7 is a game that I can't see them winning. It's against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, so they play the Kansas City Chiefs twice a year, and I just want to say, I think it's more likely they win this game than their other game against the Chiefs, just because this game's at home. With that being said, though, I don't think they'll win this game. The Chiefs are probably the best team in the NFL going into next season, coming off a Super Bowl win. They actually had a pretty good draft, getting Clyde Edwards-Helaire, even though it wasn't necessarily the biggest position of need. It was a position of need, and they were able to fill it very, very well. An explosive offense, a talented defense. Chiefs are going to be a team to look out for this year, and they should be on everybody's radar as one of the toughest teams in the NFL, and all the other NFL teams, one of their toughest games of the season, whether they're playing them at home, whether they're playing away. The Chiefs can really, really win, I think, anywhere. And they can, they're such a talented team. When you really look at it, on paper, they're the best team in the NFL. I'm not sure if they'll have the best record in the NFL, but with what they have at head coach and what they have just on their roster, we could be looking at a repeat for the Chiefs this year, if not the Super Bowl in the AFC. They're just that good. They really are. Week 8, they have a bye week, and then they're playing at the Atlanta Falcons. Now, originally, I had the Denver Broncos winning this game pretty easily. I'm not going to lie. But then I really looked at it and thought about it a bit more. The Falcons can be good this year. In my prediction video, I had them have not very good. I don't think that's going to happen anymore. I think they're going to be very good this season. They have their team is by no means perfect, and there are a lot of needs on the team, but by no means do they have a bad team. Matt Ryan has actually established himself to be a good quarterback in the NFL. Getting Todd Gurley, that could be a good move. We'll see how that pans out. Falcons are going to be an interesting team to watch this season, and with this game being on the road for the Broncos, this could be 100% a win for the Falcons, but it could also be a win for the Broncos. Week 10, another tough game. It's against the Raiders, the now Las Vegas Raiders. Almost called them Oakland Raiders, but they are the Las Vegas Raiders. This game could either be a big win for the Broncos or could actually be a very close game. I don't think the Raiders will win, but it could definitely be close. The Raiders have the talent on their team, I think, but there is also a lot of spots where they need to get more talented at. It's going to be an interesting game. I think the Broncos will probably win. Moving on to Week 11, playing at home, playing the LA Chargers. Chargers are a very interesting team because they have a very good roster. Their quarterback is really their quarterbacks, is really their question mark. Will Tyrod Taylor or will Justin Herbert be able to get it done? I think it's possible. Tyrod Taylor has led teams to the playoffs before. He did take the Buffalo Bills to the playoffs a few years back. And I do think the Chargers could make the playoffs this year. Just on their roster alone, they could definitely make the playoffs, but this is a really tough division. I haven't really mentioned that yet. But the Raiders could be a playoff contender. I believe so. I don't think they will, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were. The Chargers can be a playoff contender. The Chiefs can be a playoff contender, and the Broncos can be a playoff contender. I don't think that it's really a question if the Chiefs will be a playoff contender or not. But I think it's a question if the Broncos, Raiders, and Chargers will be a playoff contender. I think the Chargers and the Broncos can be playoff contenders. Not so sure about the Raiders, though. But back to this game. I think the Broncos will probably win at home. I think they have the better roster. I don't know if they have the better roster, but I do think that they will be the better team this season, and I think they'll be able to get it done at home. Week 12, though, I don't think they'll be able to get it done at home. They're playing the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans Saints are a legitimate Super Bowl contender, I think, if they can really get over that hump and actually win in the playoffs. They are a legitimate Super Bowl contender. Such a talented football team. Um, Even though Drew Brees is getting up there in age, they're still a great team. They have so many offensive weapons. Alvin Kamara can be used as a receiving back, but also as a running back. Michael Thomas getting Emmanuel Sanders was such a good move. Jared Cook, their offense is really, really good. And they actually have a very good defense, too. They do need a bit of help in the secondary, but Marshawn Lattimore is good. It's a very, very good roster for the Saints. So moving on to Week 13, I'm not really going to talk much about this one as it's against the Kansas City Chiefs again. I had them losing to the Chiefs earlier, and I had them losing here again. Chiefs are just too good of a football team. So there's really 3 games that I can't see the Broncos winning this season in any scenario. Those games are the 2 games against the Chiefs and the game against the Saints. I cannot see them winning those games at all. I think it's possible they can win any other game. I don't think they will win every other game, but I definitely think it's possible. Week 14, they're at the Panthers. Don't expect the Panthers to be too good of a football team this year. I think this is definitely a potential win for the Denver Broncos. I do like the Panthers bringing in Matt Rule. I think that was a great hire. But I don't think this is their year. I think a few years down the line they can be good, but not right now. Buffalo Bills can be a very good football team this year. Definitely have the talent on the roster, and they are definitely the most talented team in the AFC East. I do think they have a similar amount of talent on the roster to the Denver Broncos. In this game being at home for the Broncos, I think it will be a win. It's going to be an entertaining game. It's going to be a close game. I'm taking the Broncos, I think, for this game. Week 16, they have the Chargers, this time on the road. I think this is going to be a loss for them, honestly. The Chargers, I feel like it's really going to matter if they're... I mean, the Chargers really, if you really think about it, don't have the best home field advantage. But I think just because of the travel, Denver will lose this game because the Chargers are still a good team. And then Week 17, they're playing the Raiders. Talked about the Raiders earlier. They're a good team. I don't expect them to be great, though. I think this will probably be a win for the Broncos. So now, as I always do, I'll go through every game once again, and I'll give my prediction for who I think will win. Week 1 against the Titans, I'm taking the Broncos in this one. I think they can actually win. Week 2 against the Steelers, I'm taking the Steelers. Steelers are too good of a team for me. I'm actually taking them in Week 3 against the Buccaneers. That's going to surprise some people, I know, but I do think they will be able to win. Week 4, 5, and 6, I think those are all wins against AFC East opponents. Just not the best opponents. I think so. I think those teams could put up fights, but I think the Broncos are the better team and will win those games. I think they'll lose to the Chiefs. Like I said, I can't see them beating the Chiefs in any scenario. Chiefs are just too good a team. I think they'll lose to the Falcons on the road. Falcons could actually be pretty good this season, and they're going to be very interesting to watch. I think they'll beat the Raiders and the Chargers, but I can't see them beating the Saints or the Chiefs in any scenario. Like I said, I think they'll beat the Panthers, Bills, but I think they'll lose to the Chargers, I think they'll lose against the Raiders. That will give them a record of 10-6 on the year. I think that's good enough to get them in the playoffs. It's not great, but it's not bad by any means. So that is what I think about the Denver Broncos. What do you guys think about the Denver Broncos? Tell me in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like. If you're new around here, feel free to subscribe for more daily NFL, college football, and just football content in general every single day. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video.